the CEO laughed when the single dad walked into the room wearing an old jacket and carrying a worn-out briefcase. She thought he was just another desperate man looking for a job. She had no idea that, within minutes, the sound of gunshots would turn the entire building into chaos and the man she had laughed at would become the one person standing between her and danger. Sometimes, the people we underestimate are the very people who show us what courage, kindness, and humanity truly mean. And sometimes, one small act of kindness can come back to us when we need it most. Before we begin, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment telling us where you are watching from. Your support helps us share more inspiring stories with people around the world. Daniel Carter was a single father who had learned to live with very little. Every morning, he woke up before sunrise in a small apartment on the edge of the city. His 8-year-old daughter, Lily, was usually still sleeping when he left for work. Daniel worked 2 jobs. During the day, he delivered packages. At night, he cleaned offices. He did everything he could to give Lily a safe and happy childhood. Her mother had left years ago, and since then, Daniel had been both father and mother to his little girl. He never complained. Even when money was tight, he smiled. Even when he was exhausted, he listened to Lily talk about school. And every night, no matter how tired he was, he read her a bedtime story. One evening, Lily looked at him and asked, "Daddy, are you tired?" Daniel smiled. "A little." "Then why are you smiling?" "Because I have the best daughter in the world." Lily hugged him tightly. Daniel knew he was not rich. But in moments like that, he felt like the richest man alive. A few weeks later, Daniel saw a job advertisement for a security position at one of the largest technology companies in the city. The salary was much better than what he earned from cleaning offices. If he got the job, he could work fewer hours and spend more time with Lily. So Daniel polished his old shoes, ironed his only good shirt, and went to the company's headquarters for an interview. The building was enormous. Glass walls stretched from the ground to the roof. Luxury cars filled the parking lot. People in expensive suits walked quickly through the entrance. Daniel looked down at his old jacket. For a moment, he wondered if he belonged there. But then he thought about Lily. He walked inside. The receptionist directed him to a waiting area. Daniel sat quietly beside several well-dressed applicants. After almost an hour, a woman entered the room. She was Victoria Grant, the company's CEO. Victoria was young, confident, and extremely successful. She had built the company into a billion-dollar business. Everyone respected her. Some people feared her. Victoria looked at the applicants. Then her eyes stopped on Daniel. She looked at his worn shoes. Then at his old briefcase. A small laugh escaped her mouth. "You're here for the security position?" she asked. Daniel nodded. "Yes, ma'am." Victoria looked at the other applicants and smiled. "I'm sorry, but this building requires a certain image." Daniel felt his face become warm. He knew exactly what she meant. He stood up. "I understand." Victoria glanced at his briefcase. "How long have you had that thing?" Daniel looked down. "My wife gave it to me before she left." The room became quiet. Victoria immediately regretted her question, but her pride prevented her from apologizing. Daniel continued. "It still works, so I keep using it." Victoria said nothing. Daniel walked toward the door. Before he could leave, he noticed an elderly janitor struggling to carry a heavy box. Without hesitation, Daniel put down his briefcase and helped him. "Careful," Daniel said. "Let me carry that." The janitor smiled. "Thank you, son." Daniel carried the box across the hallway. Victoria watched from a distance. She had expected Daniel to leave angrily. Instead, he had stopped to help someone else. Then something unexpected happened. The building's emergency alarm suddenly started ringing. Everyone froze. A second later, loud gunshots echoed from somewhere outside the building. People screamed. Panic spread through the lobby. Victoria's face went pale. Employees rushed toward the exits, but security officers quickly closed the doors. Daniel immediately noticed a terrified young woman standing near the glass entrance. She was frozen with fear. Daniel ran toward her. "Get down!" He pulled her away from the windows and moved her behind a concrete wall. More gunshots echoed outside. Victoria stood completely still. For the first time in her life, the powerful CEO looked helpless. Daniel saw her. "Victoria! Get down!" She looked at him. "How do you know my name?" "You're the CEO, remember?" Another loud sound came from outside. Victoria finally dropped to the floor. Daniel crawled toward her. "Stay low." "What's happening?" Victoria whispered. "I don't know." Daniel looked around. He saw several employees hiding behind desks. One young man was crying. An elderly worker was trapped near the reception area. Without thinking about his own safety, Daniel moved toward him. "Sir, can you walk?" The elderly man nodded. Daniel helped him move behind a strong interior wall. Then Daniel returned to the lobby. Victoria stared at him. "Why are you doing this?" Daniel looked at her. "Because everyone deserves help when they're afraid." Victoria remembered the way she had laughed at him earlier. She looked down. "I'm sorry." Daniel shook his head. "There's nothing to be sorry about right now. Just stay safe." Minutes passed. The gunshots finally stopped. The police arrived and secured the area. Thankfully, no one inside the building had been seriously injured. As everyone slowly began to calm down, Victoria searched for Daniel. She found him sitting on the floor near the hallway. His hands were shaking. Only then did she realize that Daniel had been terrified too. He wasn't a trained hero. He wasn't a wealthy businessman. He was just a tired father who had been worried about getting home to his daughter. Victoria sat beside him. "You were brave." Daniel gave a tired smile. "I was scared." Victoria looked surprised. "You were?" "Of course." "Then why did you help everyone?" Daniel looked toward the crowded lobby. "Because being scared doesn't mean you stop caring about other people." Victoria became silent. Those words stayed with her. The next morning, Victoria asked Daniel to return to her office. Daniel walked in wearing the same old jacket. But this time, Victoria stood up when he entered. She walked around her desk and offered him a seat. "I owe you an apology," she said. Daniel nodded. "You do." Victoria smiled sadly. "I judged you because of your clothes. I thought your appearance told me everything about you." Daniel looked at her. "Most people do." Victoria took a deep breath. "Yesterday, you showed me that I was wrong." She offered Daniel the security position. But Daniel hesitated. "I appreciate it, but I need a job that gives me more time with my daughter." Victoria nodded. "Then let's find one." She offered him a full-time position in the company's community support department, with better hours and a salary that would allow him to spend evenings with Lily. Daniel could hardly believe it. "Why?" Victoria smiled. "Because I want someone like you working here." Daniel accepted. But Victoria did something else. She created a new company program to help employees facing financial difficulties, single parents, and families going through hard times. Daniel helped lead it. Months later, the company had helped hundreds of employees. One evening, Daniel brought Lily to the office. Victoria met her in the lobby. "Are you Lily?" she asked. Lily nodded. "Yes." Victoria smiled. "Your dad talks about you all the time." Lily looked at Daniel. "Daddy says you're his boss." Victoria laughed. "That's true." Lily thought for a moment. "Are you the lady who laughed at his old briefcase?" Daniel's eyes widened. Victoria started laughing. Lily looked confused. Victoria knelt down beside her. Yes, I was. Lily looked at her father's old briefcase. Why did you laugh? Victoria looked at Daniel. Because I was foolish. Lily smiled. Well, my daddy says old things can still be useful. Victoria smiled. Your daddy is right. Daniel looked at his daughter and smiled. That old briefcase was still with him. It was scratched. It was worn. But now it carried something more valuable than documents. It carried a reminder. A reminder that kindness is not about how much money you have. It is not about the clothes you wear. It is not about your job title or the car you drive. Kindness is what you choose to do when nobody expects you to do anything. Victoria had judged Daniel by what she saw. But Daniel had seen people by what they needed. And when fear filled the building, he did not ask who was rich or poor. He simply helped. That is the power of kindness. You never know when one small act of compassion might change someone's life. And you never know when the person you choose to help might someday be the person who helps you. So, the next time you see someone struggling, don't be too quick to judge. Offer a hand. Say a kind word. Listen when someone needs to be heard. Because sometimes, the smallest act of kindness can become the biggest moment in someone's life. And maybe, just maybe, the kindness you give today will inspire someone else to pass it forward tomorrow.